Good morning. It's Wednesday Wisdom, middle of the week, and we've got the gorgeous Sammy here. Sam and I are way long, good-term friends. We've known each other for 3 years now, maybe coming up 3.5, maybe something like that. We just connected. Yeah, me too. We just connected straight away and we talk to each other on a regular basis. And we've had Sam on before, but it was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Right back at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I reckon close to 3 years ago.
Yeah, most probably, yeah. And so Sam, you own Happy You HQ.
I do indeed.
And you share with people about being happy.
I do. So yeah, look that. And it's quite funny because my clinic has been called Happy You Headquarters since I opened. And the reason I called it that was because I always intended to have other practitioners working here with me, right? And as a clinical hypnotherapist, my business was called Central Coast Modern Hypnosis. And I thought, well, that's not going to make any sense if a massage therapist or a psychotherapist is working for my clinic, right? So Happy You HQ kind of came from that. And then it was really funny. That was the name I was always really, really attached to. And it's taken me now 7 years in practice to realize that it actually didn't have anything to do with anybody else. It was actually my mission, right down to the degree that, I have this love heart tattooed on me that has a U inside of it. And it's all about loving yourself from the inside out and happiness being an inside job. So, even though my unconscious intention or my conscious intention was to build this clinic for everybody else, my unconscious already knew that it had nothing to do with anybody else. So it's been
funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been an interesting and kind of almost confusing journey where that has been concerned.
Yeah. So tell us more about that happiness from within. It's really interesting that we're talking about this because it was just yesterday. I don't know why I even thought it, but yesterday I was doing something and I was thinking about how society have almost been conditioned to believe that if someone's happy, then deep down they're actually not happy and they're suicidal. Like, Robin Williams and so many other people on the planet that,
I just totally got like a when you did that.
Yeah. And like if you're like, because you and I are happy, right? Like we're happy people, and right?
Izzy, it's funny, like, by the way, everybody, like, throughout this, you're going to hear me reference her as Izzy and Santi Izzy, and you might get the chance to hear about that, but she's always been Izzy to us. So like, it is really interesting because the happiness journey for me has been a really long journey because I went from being like the old school Robin Williams, and we're going to use him because you brought him up, and honestly, I can actually feel him here with us right now. Like I'm getting a bit emotional, even as the second you spoke, I just kind of got this whoosh. Anyway, so what's interesting is that I used to do that old version of happy. Like, people would say, how you going? And I'd be like, really good, thanks, how are you? And I was always up, right? It didn't matter, like literally something really horrific could have just happened and you would have still got the stock standard verbatim, I'm really good, thanks, how are you? And I was like that for years and years and years. And it really, for me, came crashing down probably when I was about 32. And, it culminated in a bunch of things happening from me, doing my third bout of drug addiction to the global financial crisis to making some very poor business decisions, which led me to essentially lose everything. And I then at that point started really questioning, like, what is the point? What is the purpose? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? What does happiness even mean? Like, because I had all of the things that I thought I needed to be happy, right?
Yeah.
I had a job, I had the houses, I was financially successful. I didn't have a boyfriend, admittedly, but that had never been a huge priority for me. So at that time, that really didn't stress me out. And yet I was like back on drugs. I was like a bloody teenager smoking ice. And so I kind of sat back and went, right, like this, I fucked something up here. Like this clearly isn't what happy is. And so I guess the real gift for me was that, my dark night of the soul, like, my wish is that everybody doesn't have to go through that. But probably my heart tells me that everyone has to go through their own version of that dark night of the soul.
Come out the other end. Yeah.
And that is actually where the growth and the lesson is. But for me, once I came through that and I went, okay, well, I thought the house and the car and the job and mum and dad being proud of me and raving to all their friends about how I was a successful real estate agent. And, I thought that shit was what was going to fulfill me. And when it didn't, I was lost. I won't lie. I was lost. And I kind of went on this journey. And, it was kind of like, Matthew McConaughey talks about this journey that he goes on where he goes on through, I think through the Amazon, and, he does this kind of like, I don't know, 2 or 3 week kind of spiritual quest essentially. And I did the same thing. I didn't go to the Amazon. I went to the Hawkesbury River, but I really relate to what he said, because I took my 2 dogs, I sat up there, I drank a lot of wine, and if I'm honest, I might have smoked a couple of joints, and I just sat there and really started going like, why am I here? What is the purpose? And in that moment, I realized that, okay, well, it is definitely like, I really believe it is about happiness. And there's a lot of arguments about that word. Like,
I was going to say, like the actual, even the definition, what is happiness, right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah. People go, oh, no such thing as happiness. You can't be happy all the time. It's joy. And like people that I really respect and admire and follow, will have a bit of a trigger around this word. And it's taken me a long time to get to a point where I've really just gone, do you know what? Like, I actually don't care what you fuckers think. This is what I think. This is my belief, right?
Yeah.
And my belief about happiness is a couple of things. First, I believe it is something that we do. It's not something that we get, right?
Yeah. Or have. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe it's something that I'll be happy when I get the house, the car, the dog, the boat, the train, the plane.
The man.
It's not that.
The man. Yeah.
Like, because that is probably the number one response when people will come in as a clinician and they will say to me, I want to be normal or I want to be happy. And like, fuck normal and happy, cool. So what's it look like? And no one knows, right?
No.
So like they don't have the answer, because let's face it, if we knew what was going to make us happy, we'd be doing it, right?
Yeah.
And Izzy and I are both happy, and I believe we have worked it out. And my version of happy is being very clear about, firstly, what your values are, right? If you have a value of health and vitality and you are running around shoving chocolates, lollies and cakes in your face every day and not exercising, and you're out of alignment, you're not going to be happy, right? If you have a value of honesty, authenticity, right, which I have been banging on about for years, and I truly believe I was being really authentic. How can you be authentic when you feel like shit and someone goes, how you going? And you go, really good, thanks, how are you?
Yeah.
That's not authentic, right? And so I believe happiness is a couple of things. It's A, knowing your values and being crystal clear that you are living in alignment with them. And then B, having the belief system, right, which, as many of you would know, because you're in Izzy's group, a belief is just a story. It is a story. It's a combination of words that we tell ourselves again and again. It's an incantation. It's a hypnosis, whatever you want to call it, but it's just a story. So you have the values that you live in alignment with. You have the stories that back up your values. And then you actually go out there and you do that stuff, right? So I think that is kind of like, to me, what encapsulates happy. And then obviously there's a bit more to it, but that is, someone now asks me, what is happiness? Happiness is knowing your values, having beliefs that back it up, and living in alignment with those things.
Yeah, and experiencing those values. Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually one of the things, just as you're saying that in reflection, is knowing your values, because we're so conditioned from what society's values are, or values that have been created for us because we're being influenced by outside, market research, and like everything that's out there, like the big gold arches, as they say, and like Coca-Cola and all of these things that know exactly how to market to us. And so what are your values? Like to have that opportunity to stop and reflect. What are your values? Stop, think about what they are. What is it that you value in your life, and how are you going to implement it, regardless of what everyone else is doing and what everyone else is saying? And, like being bold enough to take those values on and implement them in your life, right?
Right. And actually taking the time, and like, guys, this is not a 2-second process, right?
No.
Like this is a body of work. I'm 47 years old. This is a body of work I started truthfully at 23.
Yeah.
I really had been searching for things a lot longer, before that. But at 23, I went and did a 4-day intense workshop that started me really on the journey of questioning or even understanding values. Because before that, right, I thought a value was just loyalty and honesty and integrity. And sure, like that, they are values for sure.
But what do they mean, right? What do they mean? What does that word mean to you?
That's right. That's right. And what I've recently learned as an even easier way to describe this to people is that we have values that we move towards, and we have values that we move away from, right? So a moving towards value would be health and vitality, for instance, and a moving away from value would be rejection, okay? And what's really interesting is that we create these rules about how we will experience rejection and how we will experience health and vitality. And here is the funny thing about humans. We are so hard on ourselves. Like I'm talking hypercritical. So here's what we do, right? And we are creating this. We are creating this situation. We are writing the story. We are the director, the actor. We are like, it's all us. So here's an example, right? I will experience health and vitality when I go to the gym every single day. I never eat any sugar. I am the perfect weight. I fit back into my clothes that I wore 20 years ago. I look in the mirror and I feel amazing, right? So clearly, like, I'm making that really difficult. But rejection, I will experience rejection every time anybody has a differing opinion from me. I will experience rejection anytime someone doesn't return my call within 5 minutes of me calling them. I will experience rejection anytime my phone call is not answered. I will experience rejection anytime someone doesn't like a post I put on Facebook, right? So what we have to do is this, right? If you want to understand how to do happy, step 1, get clear on what you are valuing, yeah? Step 2, look at the rules that you currently have and make it easy to experience your moving towards values. So for me now, I experience health and vitality every time I stop and take a deep breath. How easy is that, right?
Yeah.
I just experienced health and vitality. Every time I go for a walk, every time I move my body, or I go to the beach, and I just put or this, or that, or this, or that. And with rejection, I will only experience rejection now when 500 people all at once write a negative comment on one of my Facebook posts. And I believe what they are saying, instead of believing that I am doing the best I can with the resources I have and I have the power to impact one person every day. Simple.
Yeah.
But now, like my rejection even is a moving towards value, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting the way that our mind works, right? And I know, like, this is a big topic. Like, people.
It is, isn't it? Hey,
You know, it's not a throwaway topic.
Yeah. No.
It's a big thing, you know. But one really simple thing your people could do, for argument's sake, if you're not experiencing happiness right now, is just forget everything else I've just said, because that requires a bit of work, okay? And I'm not saying we can't come back to that. But one thing you can do that's super duper duper easy to do, and every single person on the planet can do it, whether you're unless you physically cannot move your body, and then you just have to do it in your mind. But if you physically are capable of moving your body and you have any form of technology that you can play a song on, all you have to do is change your physiology, right? Because if I asked all of your listeners, what does a depressed person look like? Everybody here is going to tell me, right? Is it? What are they going to say? Is it? Tell me.
Yeah, they're a depressed person. Shoulders are slumped. Their head's down. They're not making eye contact. Not smiling. Like slouching. Yeah, absolutely holding their heart. Yeah.
Okay. And what does a happy, confident person look like?
Totally opposite. So strong posture, head up, making eye contact, smiling often,
Okay.
Heart open, ready to receive,
Right. And you know what? Yes, we've done some work, but I can tell you right now, I've asked thousands of people this question, typically depressed people, and even a depressed person can tell me the difference between what a depressed person looks like and what a happy person looks like. I get them to show me in my clinic. I say, all right, let's do depressed. And then let's do happy. Because it is a verb, right? It's a doing. We are doing it. Maybe not consciously. In fact, definitely not consciously, because no one wakes up and says, today I'm going to think of all the things deliberately that are going to make me feel horrible. But it becomes such a pattern and such a groove.
Yeah.
The easiest way to actually experience happy, right? And you can use the word joy if the word happy triggers you, just like the word God used to trigger me. So I used to use the word universe.
I was thinking of that before when you were saying happy. I was thinking it's the same with the word God, right? Total trigger for some people. Yeah.
And the reason that we have those triggers are based on the lens of our lifetime and
perception.
Yeah, and that once again is our perception has come from everything outside of us. Like, guys, we came to this earth with everything we needed to get to where we needed to go. Our soul chose what it needed to do, what it needed to do. And from the minute we got here, everything external from our soul started fucking with that process. Sorry, guys, I'm swearing a bit. I hope you warned them a bit about me, maybe not. But
I know that you swear. I swear too. And it's totally like, oh, good. But you got to be as authentic as possible, right? It's just the way
Yeah. And that was a part of me I definitely used to curb. And like, honestly, I got to a point in my life where I was like, sometimes there just isn't a better word than fuck. I mean, I'm sorry, but that word has got so much capacity because it can mean so many things. Fuck you, fuck me, get fucked. Like, it's a great word. So anyway, moving on from that word, your soul comes here with everything it needs. And then everything external from you starts fucking with you and causing you to go into comparison and causing you to, especially today, like we're growing up in a world where you are being marketed to millions of times every single day. You'll be happy when you look
absolutely.
Like this, when your teeth look like this, when your hair looks like this, when you're this perfect weight, when like I've literally just taken technology.
When you're going down the beach and
like Coca-Cola ads. Seriously, fuck off. You've got these people that have never put anything other than a goddamn carrot in their mouth, running down the beach, looking fabulous, drinking Coke. It's never happening, people. Right?
No.
So anyway, I digress. Going back to how you fix happy, just this one thing, right? This is one thing you can do every single day. And I promise you, if you were to rank yourself on a happiness scale before you do it, always do this, right? And this is my little challenge for all of you beautiful women of light. Like, this is such a beautiful, engaged group. And, you know, I've loved being part of this group. So I really hope some of you decide to kind of go ahead and take me up on this little challenge. All you have to do is this, okay? Find a song that makes your heart sing, right? Like for me, I've got a couple of songs that I really, really love. Two of them are the script, right? I'll actually, if Izzy lets me, I'll post up a couple of links, or I'll give them to her so that we can post them into the group. Just so you can see
you can do it. Totally fine. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
So I'll post a couple of links. And the reason that these two songs really resonate for me is one of them is called Hall of Fame, right, by the script. And the other one, I've forgotten the name, but his father has clearly died, okay? And he's basically standing there. Oh, my dad is still here, but he still triggers the shit out of me. But he's saying things like, you know, I could be the greatest, I could be the best, you know, I could be King Kong banging on my chest. And he's really like there, and he's going, I'm standing in the Hall of Fame. And Dad, and then, you know, the other song is, would you still be proud of me? Would you be proud of me, or would you hang your head in shame? And it just, like, for me, I listen to that and it's a reminder that I'm already doing okay. So for me, those words resonate, right? But your song might be like, you know, happiness, what's his name, Jay? Oh, goodness, I've forgotten now. That, you know, I'm happy.
I was just thinking of the...
Will Ferrell. Is it Will Ferrell?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
So all you have to do is this. If we know, right, that your physiology, I might have forgotten to mention this, your physiology is responsible for 58% of how you actually feel, okay? It is huge in how you feel. So we know depressed looks like this. We know happy and confident looks like this. So then if you get a song, and my recommendation is to just pick one to start with, right? Find a song that, and it's got to be a song that makes you feel good, right?
And you want to dance, or yeah.
And then get up and move your body and dance, and like in a way that, like, I mean, ugly dance. Do the worst, silliest, dumbest movements you can possibly do. And I'm telling you, you physically cannot do depressed in that moment and move your body like that. Our physiology just doesn't work like that, right? And you are doing what's called a pattern interrupt in that moment, and you're changing it immediately. So when people come to me and they go, I think you're really good at helping people get out of depression, I realize it's going to take some time. Fuck, it's not. It's not going to take some time. We can fix it right now. Do you want to fix it right now? Do you want to wait years?
Yeah.
So, yes, it's a practice. And you know, yes, you've got to do some work. It's simple. It's not easy. But happiness does not come from out there. It comes from in here. And you generate that. Like, you are 100% in control of this. And so, like, right now, like, I know so many people that have been impacted and have stories around COVID. And Izzy and I have talked a lot about this, you know. We sit very much, like, no judgment, no matter which side of the fence you're on, right? But here's the thing. This COVID debate has been something that people have allowed to really fuck their day up.
Yeah,
for 2
absolutely.
Years now,
yeah.
Right? No matter which side of the fence you're on. So if you haven't been vaccinated, some people have gone, oh, that's okay, it's all good, whatever, and they've gotten on with their day, right? Other people that aren't vaccinated are going, we're being victimized, and blah, blah, blah. And I've played in both camps, by the way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not, there's no judgment here. And then there's people that, you know, have gone and got the vax and have gone it just and been, yeah, whatever, fuck it, I don't care, I've just done it. And other people that have been like, you guys are murderers because you aren't getting it. And but they're all stories, right?
Yeah.
And those stories are determining how you wake up every single day.
Yeah.
So, like, I now know my mission on the planet, like, and I, you know, it's really clear inside my brain. It is to help people, right? Help people tap into, you know, and I'm going to use this, and Izzy's almost going to fall off the chair. but it is to help people tap into their God-given inner fabulosity that they came down here with, so that they can go out into this beautiful planet that we live, and they can love, lead, inspire, have fun, and be a shining light for humanity. Because every single one of you, we were put here for that. Every single one of you.
Amen.
Right? Right? Our job was to be a shining light. And somewhere along the way, and you can't shine light if you're not doing happy.
Yeah.
Your energy will infect people, whether you are happy, sad, or angry or mad. It doesn't matter. So you have to make a choice. In fact, you don't have to. You get to make a choice every single day.
I was just going to say that before, like when you were talking about changing the physiology and, you can be happy now. Like the whole thing is you've actually got a choice. Depression is not some big, ugly, entity of its own that comes over and swamps you. You have a choice. You've got to, that's one of the things, I suppose, actually, that, people that go into depression or anxiety or whatever, it's, wait a minute, I've got a choice here. What am I choosing?
But you see, the biggest problem with, and we could talk, I don't know how long we're even allowed to go here, Izzy, but I could say this, like, I know for certain, right, that you tell a depressed person that, they've got to be, I'm a bit more punch than cuddle, and I do a bit of both. But the reality is that a depressed person sits there and says, why would I want to feel like this? And I can tell them a million reasons. Well, I know that you get a lot of attention by doing like this. It gives you permission to know. Like, there's a million reasons, right? They're called secondary gains. But the thing is that they're not doing it consciously. Okay?
No.
And the thing is that, unfortunately, if we want to get into it really from a political standpoint for 2 seconds, okay, the simple fact is the mental health industry is a multi-trillion, billion, whatever the biggest number is, business.
Yes.
So like the sickness industry, right?
Yeah.
With medicine is like, there's too many people.
It's not the health industry. Absolutely.
It's too big, right? And so Izzy and I are involved in what we call the wellness industry, but truthfully, there's as much bullshit in our industry as there is in what I call the sickness industry, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to really, you don't
I agree.
I keep saying have to, but I implore everybody that I work with, my mission is to get out there and share with as many people as possible that they can take back their choice. And they need to learn to understand that they are in charge of how they choose to feel. And it's a skill, it's a habit, just like learning to speak. When Izzy and I started doing shows like this, we were fucking hopeless. Like, seriously, we ran meetups and we did stuff together and like progress, not perfection. But what I know for certain is that that's stuff external from us. Unfortunately, people struggling with anxiety and depression, they are going to doctors who are validating, and I'm not shitting on doctors because they're not all the same, right? But the reality is
and they've got to get a valid spot, right? But there's so many things that you can do prior to having to go down that route, right? There's so many things that you can actually do. So
100%. And listen, I'm a huge fan of medication. I'm a huge fan of medication that can be really helpful short term, as long as the medication doesn't actually make the story in your brain be that you're broken and the medication is fixing it, right? If the story that they get given, and really good doctors, I know some amazing doctors, right? And really good doctors will say, hey, you know what? You're doing a bit of depression right now. That makes sense. Your husband just died. Your wife just died. Your kid just died. Or I'm not even sure why, but there's maybe a bit of a chemical imbalance. It doesn't matter. Like, there's a reason. What we're going to do is we're going to put you on some medication to just even things out. And then whilst you're a bit even, we're going to start teaching you some tools and resources, like the stuff we've just talked about today. Like, that's my goal, right? I'm not anti that. And I'm not saying we are everything. I just think that if we work together, there is a time and a place for medication, and there is a time and a place for tools. And I think together, the two of them, then we get a happy planet where everyone gets to go out, tapped into their inner fabulosity, and they do shine light for humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sam, I know that, like you've got a clinic and you're very busy in the clinic, and you work with people one-on-one, and I think you're starting to do groups and stuff. But if there's people on here, women on here that are interested in finding out more about what you do, are you doing anything online?
So the best place you guys could go to right now, okay, is that I've actually just started a Monday show called Happy AF, right? And, it was funny when obviously my brain went happy as fuck, right? Because that's what I want to be. But then I was sitting there the other night and I was like,
I'm wondering what AF meant.
Yeah. Well, what does AF mean, right? And for you, it might mean happy and free, happy and fun, happy and fabulous, happy and freaking good. For me, it's happy as fuck, because that's how I speak. And you can put in the AF, right? But my goal is to help you do happy, and not just help you do happy, but if I only, one of my all-time favorite movies, and if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. It's an oldie but a goodie, is Pay It Forward, right?
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful
any
movie.
Entrepreneur, any person, someone's about to walk into my door and make noise, so I apologize for that. Any entrepreneur that gets out there and becomes super successful and is really like amazing in the world and making billions, the first thing they do is they all say, I want to make money so I can go out and give it away. It's the first thing they all do, right? Because happiness and joy and money is multiplied when you give it out. But the place to really kind of connect with me, and it won't cost you anything, is to just jump into my group, Mindset Warriors, right? I'll get the link posted up here.
Yeah, you'll put the link in.
Link for you. And I've started a show called Happy AF, and it's on Monday at 10 a.m. and Australian Eastern Daylight Time, I think is what we're in right now. So I know you've got people all over the world. But it will be there as a replay, and it's a 30-minute show of me just giving you coaching on how to do happy, right? And I'm going to continue to do it. It's not going to stop. My goal is to do it every week. And I'm about to start doing some another little sort of coaching call. And I'm just trying to set the times up now, but everything I'm doing is all around this, and it's all free. So that's the starting point. If you want to kind of get in a bit more and get a bit more of an understanding, jump in there. And of course, I've got YouTube and Facebook and all of that. But if you just find me on Facebook, I'll get the girls to post all the links up of all my socials, and then that way you can connect with me, you can follow me. And really, like, every single day I'm posting and sharing and doing something to help everybody on the planet, like I said, tap into that little whisper that they hear. If you're not doing happy right now, then I'll tell you one thing I know for certain: you're not living your purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, then every single day get a piece of paper and just write down, why am I here? Why do I want to wake up today? What is my purpose? What am I passionate about? And keep asking the question, and I promise you'll get an answer. And once you get that answer, like, everything changes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And it won't matter.
And you start making choices. You start consciously making choices.
That's right.
Like I choose this in my life. I don't choose that because it doesn't feel right. It's a work in progress, as you said before. So
100%.
Thank you so much, Sammy.
It's so lovely to have you on.
Yeah, and we do.
Thank you for having me on. I really am super grateful. And Women of Light, like, you're so lucky. I know you already know this, but just quickly, Santi Izzy is what she is to my daughter. And the reason we call her Santi Izzy is because she's like a saint, right? She is, as a person to me, as close to a godly, angelic human being on this planet, right? For a whole lot of reasons. And so you guys are I hope you know how privileged and lucky and special it is for you to be in a group with her, because she gives her whole heart with everything that she does. So if you're not like involved in any of the other stuff that she does, you want to check that stuff out, because ladies, she's got some really cool stuff happening. Anyway,
Thank you, Sam, and ditto to you. You know, we have such a beautiful relationship and friendship. You know, it's so nice to have soul sisters in my life. So
yeah,
and I'm sure we'll have you back on, because we've got heaps more to talk about. I'm sure.
Yeah, I agree. And guys, listen, if you've got any questions, like, please hit me up.
Throw them in the chat. For sure.
Hit me up. I'll answer anything. Okay.
Yeah.
I love you.
Take care.
Bye.
See you, everyone.
Have a good day, ladies.